Gerald here with the NATE Personal Fitness Trainer Program. I'm here to present the NATE BUSN2321 Business Practices 1, Assignment 1 Business Development. The purpose of the assignment is to learn from other personal fitness training business owners in order to develop an idea of the type of business that I would want to operate. I'm here with Mr. O. He is a personal fitness trainer and a graduate of the NATE Personal Fitness Trainer Program, alumni 2012. I'm here to ask him the detailed and pertinent questions about the creation of his business, how the business currently operates, and what learning he had in the process. Mr. O, thank you for being here and taking the time to help me understand the personal fitness training business.
Not a problem, you're welcome. Pleasure is mine.
Mr. O, what motivated you to want to become a personal fitness trainer?
Well, what motivated me was that I was stuck in a dead-end job for about 20 years. So what had happened was, I was really going nowhere and wanted to make a change. So I was often recommended that, being that, this year coming up of March of this year, it's going to be my 25th year in the gym. So a lot of people kept telling me, why don't you, become a trainer. So I kind of looked into it, and I was actually quite intrigued by it because, it's something I love to do, and, maybe I can help some people along the way. So I figured it'd be a great career to follow.
What advice would you want to provide to all the new NATE Personal Fitness Trainer Program students?
Okay. From my experience, if I can make one very important suggestion is, when you go out and you graduate, you go into the real world with training, is you're going to be up against a lot of other trainers who have gotten a lot less maybe experience, or especially more importantly certifications. For example, there's a lot of certifications out there that are like 6 weeks online programs, and you do a 1 weekend workshop, and then you're a certified personal trainer. I mean, compared to what we're taught at NATE, is it's night and day. Like, we are light years ahead. So what my suggestion would be is, look at that, understand the market, what you're going into, I guess competition, so to speak. What can you do that's going to differentiate yourself? So you're looking at maybe pain management, corrective exercise, medical exercise specialists, post-rehab, maybe a certain type of sport, really sport-specific training. What's going to set you guys apart that's going to make you know, hey, I want to train with Gerald, not anybody else? So that would be my recommendation. Sometimes people in our community want to start exercising, but they do not know how or where to start. They need a personal fitness trainer to advise them how to begin. That is usual for the fitness trainer to evaluate the condition of the client and to prescribe the proper exercise program. What would you like to advise to those in our community who are thinking about finding the personal fitness trainer to help them with their exercise prescription needs? What I would suggest that the people in the community do is, when they're looking for a personal trainer, I think it's very important that they find out what their background is and what actually their specialty is. So, for example, if someone's got, say, lower back pain or is major discomfort or an imbalance of some sort, right? Maybe going to someone who does sport-specific training for hockey, for example, may not be the best fit. So you want to make sure that the client and the trainer, it's a nice fit, it's a nice mesh, because at the end of the day, what the client wants to get, what we want to get for the client, is a good positive functional outcome that, and a training program that's safe and effective, that's, going to make them realize their goals, no matter what it be. So that trainer has to be able to be equipped and experienced and, properly educated in order to get that for the client. All right. Sometimes people want to start exercising because their doctor advises them to, friends or family voice concerns, or they just think that they had better start now rather than later. In that case, the motivation is motivation to exercise is health related. Other times, people exercise in order to enhance their athletic abilities for sports. In that case, the motivation to exercise is performance related. Do you find that your clients are more motivated by health related or performance related concerns? I can honestly say that every one of my clients is health related. I actually choose not to do sport performance training, as there was just something that I never really wanted to go after. So I'm not saying I wouldn't, but anytime I sit down with somebody for a consult and they find out exactly what I can bring to them and my experience, my background, especially with that's health related, that's why they tend to go with me. And I don't tend to get too many sports related, objectives when I meet with somebody, because they usually go to other places that really specialize in that. So.
Okay. When you accept a client, how do you determine how much you would charge for that? When you accept a client, how much do you determine how much you would charge for the client services?
Well, basically, I start off at the going rate of $1 a minute, so $60 an hour. Now, if I've got a client that's coming in post-rehab training, my certification has allowed me to, communicate, directly with doctors, physicians, physiotherapists, chiropractors, things of that nature, orthopedic surgeons of that, things like that. So when there's paperwork involved, I'm going to charge a little bit more because it is a bit more specialized. So there's a lot of times that I'm spending away from the gym, at home, communicating, via email, report writing and stuff like that. So it all depends, but usually I really look at what if something's kind of basic or whatever, or kind of cut of the mill, standard run of the mill type programming or training. I will usually keep with there's the basic $1 a minute. They're going this standard going rate in Alberta, so $60 an hour. If it's more specialized, and then I go by scale. The other thing is I also determine, well, how many times a week are you going to work with me? Right? If somebody wants to come in only once a week, well then maybe I might charge a little more, but offer say, well, say if you come in I'll charge X amount of dollars, but if you say come in 2 or 3 times a week, I'll knock it down a little bit, make it a little bit more enticing. So the thing is, you really have to listen to what the client has to say when you're sitting with a consult before you start determining, like, little cues that they're going to give, like, what their background is. Like, obviously you want to find out what there is, what they do for work, stuff like that. Obviously you got to listen to the financial story. They may not come right out and say it, but they're going to give you clues where to say, okay, I better keep it down at 60, not at 85, so to speak. So that's how I do it.
Okay. All right. Now I think that might have covered our next question. Well, that question was, what determines how often the client has the fitness training sessions? Okay.
Well, no, I can expand on that. So basically, really it comes first and foremost comes down to their experience. Have they been in the gym before, right? The other thing is, have they worked out before? Are they setting in foot for the very first time? Have they, did they have injuries I got to work on that I've got to correct, I've got to improve? They've got imbalances. Have they had surgery? And the physiotherapist say, go see this guy, he's Mr. Post-Rehab. Like, it goes by case basis. So post-rehab, 2 to 3 times a week. Somebody brand new, 2 to 3 times a week. Somebody more experienced, maybe once or twice a week. And start off from there. And then it goes from there. Some people stay long-term, like 2 to 3 times a week. Some people like to, tone it down, maybe 2 times a week. A little while later, 1 time a week. And then maybe to once a month, the tune-up. Once a month, right? So it really goes by case basis, and it's really dependent on experience level and ability to do the exercises. So that's why I determine.
Okay. All right. Now, people that are employed during regular business hours are often unable to exercise until the evening or early morning. Others work the night shift and exercise during the daylight hours. Some retired, self-employed, or do not need to work. What part of the day, morning, afternoon, or evening, would you say is the busiest from your experience as a fitness trainer?
To be quite honest with you, it's varied, but usually in the mornings or late afternoons. I've seen it where people could, people could leave work or take a break. They'd come train with me, or they want to come in before work type of thing. So that's what. How it's worked recently. Like, I've got a couple of people that are semi-retired, and I got some people that that are stay-at-home moms or stuff like that, or they have a home business type of thing. So I'm finding I'm training a little bit more during the day than I normally do, say, in the evening or late afternoon.
Okay. Now, did you identify any specific demands in the market that you wanted to focus towards supplying?
I'm sorry?
Towards supplying.
Okay, yeah. So I hope I understood this question correctly. If I don't, I do apologize in advance. So basically, one of the reasons I went and got certified in post-rehab training because there's nobody out there doing it. And I've yet to have, I've maybe had a consult in the past, maybe say 4 months. Of the consults I have had, and I've had a lot, there's only been 2 people that were actually injury and pain free. That have no injuries, no surgeries, no nothing. Everybody else had something, whether it was knee, they've had a shoulder replacement, I've got a future knee replacement I'm starting to work with, getting prepared for the surgery rehab, then I'm going to work with her afterwards, back pain, knee pain, whatever. So I knew there was a need for that because, and I kept hearing the stories, I went to a trainer, I had these issues, I got worse, or I got hurt. They didn't know how to deal with that. So that was what I'm bringing to the community. I know that there's really nobody else doing it. So that's why I chose that path that I did.
Well, all right. Now, industry awareness is important for the population to appreciate the benefits provided by the personal fitness trainers. Have you noticed a trend in an increased awareness of the personal fitness trainer industry?
I've seen more people doing blogs, things of that nature on the online. I've noticed the newspapers will do maybe a weekly segment. I know in St. Albert Gazette here they do. I know in the Journal, I believe they used to. I think they still don't, even the Edmonton Sun. So I'm starting to see like a weekly segment where they're kind of touching on something, and I think it's great about general health. But I find that it really, I find it really doesn't really reach its full potential. I guess it's kind of like only kind of maybe scratching the surface a little bit, kind of giving general knowledge. I guess when you're only doing it once a week and when you've got 1 or 2 pages to cover it, it's pretty hard to get to. But is there more? Yes, and especially now the advent of the internet and all these trainers doing blogs, I think it's great. But unfortunately, some of the blogs I've read, it's like I wouldn't recommend that. But you got to take the good with the bad, or the bad with the good, so to speak. It's becoming to really reading, but really on the client side is really doing their homework and asking questions. Just because one person says something doesn't mean it's gold. Do your research, do your homework. Talk to other people. If you're finding trainers or 10 trainers saying same thing, then maybe you're on the right path. But if you get one guy saying one thing and 9 say something completely different, maybe it's something worth looking into somewhere else.
All right. Now, what do you think has contributed to this, the current status of awareness in the community?
Well, I think what's happening is you're seeing a lot more people being, I'm going to put in quotations, aware of their health. Everybody's aware. Everybody knows they need to get into shape. So, you've got people, obviously offering services. You've got fitness clubs popping all over the place. In St. Albert at one time there was only one. I think there's maybe 6, 5. Then I'm not even counting the personal training studios, right? So there is a need there. That awareness is there, and to get fit and healthy, it has become a very big business. So, a lot of people, and it's not even just business. A lot of people just even want to help people. They will go out there and just try to help, even if they don't make a dime off it. But what they're doing is I'm not going to say whether you believe in karma or anything like that, but it's like you help people, it's like, and that's what some people do. They just want to help. So, that awareness is growing because there is a need for getting healthy with all the talk of, sugars, GMO food and all this, right? And all this stuff. So that's why the awareness is out there. And I think what's really picked up the awareness is the internet. And it's anything you look like awareness for you name it, it's out there because it's at a touch of our fingertips, or my phone's not here, but right on top on your phone you can look something up. So that's why the awareness is there, because that need for information is there. So when there's a need, there's going to be someone that's going to supply it, and there's a lot of people supplying it now.
Okay. Now, what methods of marketing have you found to be the most effective in promoting the fitness training industry?
Honestly, at the end of the day, word of mouth. Because either a good review is going to either improve your business and a bad review is going to hurt it, right? I've tried like flyers, online advertising, Kijiji, for example. I've tried that as well. I find that at the beginning, it's tough to get your business going. But it's like any business. There's always the lean times. There's always the grinding, the work. There's many different people had different success. I mean, networking. Having a good network of people that that can help give referrals to you. People that it's. The old saying is, if you see a good movie, you can tell people about it. Of course you are. If you had a good trainer, a good training session with Gerald, that people are going to tell other people about Gerald the trainer. Of course they are. So that would be the most effective. But like anything else, it does take time. So get out there, get yourself known, get people knowing about you. If you want to do flyers, do flyers. But at the end of the day, the other thing I got to take into consideration is money, finances. How much you're willing to spend on advertising. And one thing I would suggest is go online, and there's trainers, and they'll tell you. That's how I did it, is research. Research what is effective and what isn't. Because there's trainers, or there's companies, this and that, oh, we'll get you thousands of leads or hundreds of leads or whatever. But do they? And there's reviews or people saying this is how they did. Talk to some of the successful trainers too. Like there's a lot of us, like me, whoever. There's a lot of trainers that have been very successful in Edmonton and area, and around the world. You got the world at your fingertips, the internet. So ask them. We're always more than happy to tell you. We'll tell you what's the real deal. And everybody has done it different ways. Me, I just went in and started working, and it was slow, but once people got talking and you get the results, you're good. People are going to talk about you. So that would have to say probably the best is word of mouth.
To be a qualified personal fitness trainer requires education and leadership to prescribe the proper exercise programs and evaluate the progress of the client. The health condition of the client sometimes needs the prior evaluation from a physician or a nutritionist. Are there any specific health documents or agreements that you require before you accept someone to be your client?
There's always the Part Q, which is a good thing. Part of the reason, what I do is I actually have 2 agreements that we sign. One, of course, being a release of liability, and basically stating that, I'm going to do what I've said I'm going to do. The client's going to do the best of their ability, not goof around. Open and honest with anything that, when we do sit down, things of that nature. So that's what I do. But before I even do that, like I do at the fitness consultation, and I've turned clients away. Well, I've got an knee and it's really painful. Red flag, go to your doctor. I've got forms I can give you. Once the doctor says it's okay, here, have them sign these. The thing is, you never want to take on a client that gives you red flag if they've got burning, radiating pain going down their leg, or I suffer from blackouts, or dizzy spells, or my blood sugar likes to crash out with no warning. Yeah, red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. I don't know how many flags there would be, but there'd be a few there. So what you want to do, it is vital to that health history. You have to do that consultation. You got to find out about them, everything. And then if there's any issues, send them back to their doctor, or whether it's if it's a doctor or they've had surgery, back to their surgeon or physiotherapist, whatever the medical practitioner that they're dealing with, so that you can get a signed release or even a note from the doctor saying, yes, I hereby release Joe Blow to do exercise. Here are the contraindications. Here's what I'd like to see at the beginning. Not a problem. And then you have those guidelines. You know where to start. With somebody like that. So, yes, I do have forms, but it depends on the situation. So I know if there's someone that has to go back to a doctor, I got a form for them to take. Have the doctor fill it out. Use the Part Q, use the paramedics. You can't go wrong with those 2. At least at least that way on your end you're covered. If something were to happen and the client mishappens to not tell you something, or I had a client told me they had chronic pancreatitis. I didn't find out till the person was in the hospital and they told me by text they were missing a session. They never told me that. I had all the forms filled out, I was covered. Needless to say, I was not very happy when they showed up. I walked right up to them. They walked in. I told them, so when were you going to tell me? I says, you do realize I could have killed you with exercise. So, not always going to get it, but have your forms ready to go. And if they have to go to the doctor, have them take this to the doctor to sign it to get them the release. Or the doctor could contact, say, no, we got to wait for whatever reason or what have you. But at least that way, you're covered on your end.
Okay. All right. What expenses, such as license or insurance, are required to operate a legal personal fitness training business?
Okay, if you're on your own, depending where you get insurance, my insurance is about $400 a year. And then, of course, depending on your certifications. Now, this is where it becomes a gray area. I've had some certifications that I've let lapse because just for what I was doing, there really weren't any benefit to me. So, I mean, but I've got other ones, So, I mean, you have to, whatever niche you decide to go through, whatever path in training, right? So you got your certifications, you've got your your continuing education credits, things of that nature. Of course, you've got your first aid and CPR that you got to take care of as well. So I think first aid is every 2 years, and CPR is every year. I always get the two mixed up. So the things of that nature. So. That's what you're going to have to look at every year, especially if anything, if with first aid and CPR, if there's anything you have to have is, I personally got my own, like I said, insurance because I wanted insurance that covered everything, including medical exercise specialty or training and corrective exercise.
All right. Other than your education, what would you say has been your greatest financial investment into your personal fitness training business?
I would have to say some of the pieces of equipment, so to speak, that I've gone for, but it's more for corrective exercise. Obviously, we all know what a foam roller is and stuff like that, but I've got more specific things that'll really get more into myofascial release, things of that nature. So I guess gadgets, even if you want to call it. That's probably would have been my best investment into my business.
Now, all businesses experience some form of risk. What would you say has been the greatest risk that you had to evaluate in the establishment of your business?
That's a very easy one. Well, I find that my business has gone up and down along with the dollar and especially the price of oil. So unfortunately, it's been a challenge. There have been really good times. There have been some lean times. This past fall was a very lean time for me. Now it's starting to pick up again. Miraculously, the price of oil is still down. So I think people are starting to get out of that oil bubble. So if anything, I guess it's the old saying of putting all your eggs in one basket. I've taken steps now to divest or invest in some other business ventures. Like my wife and I have a home-based business now, so we're working on that that's separate from this. So if anything, the risk would have been jumping in both feet and not having a financial back when you're just establishing yourself. If I can make one recommendation to minimize that risk: have another job as you build your clientele, build your business. Because if you've got, say, like, some people don't have this, but for myself, we had car payments, I had a mortgage payment, and there's nothing worse than being stressed out and you can't sleep because you've only got 3 clients, you got a mortgage payment coming up. You got to come up with money somehow, right? So that would be the biggest risk I think I took, was going on my own and maybe doing it a little bit too quick. Lesson learned, which is something that I pass on to everybody else.
Okay, very good. Well, I think that answers my next question, how you minimize that. So we'll go to the next question.
Sure.
Now, in spite of all the risks and expenses, what would you say is the most profitable and enjoyable aspect of being a personal fitness trainer?
The fact that I get paid fairly well for something that I love to do that helps people. So I mean, and for me, when you get somebody who says, my hip doesn't hurt anymore, or I get out of bed and my muscles aren't stiff and I can actually get up and walk, I'm pain-free. That's what's enjoyable. That's what I love when I hear. That's what I do. So I go for the pain management and pain reduction and pain elimination. When I hear that, I don't care how much weight they lost or strength they gained. Well, okay, I do, but it's not. It's down here, whereas compared to when I hear how much pain they've lost or don't have anymore, that's the enjoyable part. Really rewarding. That you've helped somebody.
Very good. Well, I'm pleased to hear that. I hope there's more fitness trainers like you out there.